Hi, my name is Casey McGarr, and I own Inky Lips Letterpress. And today I'm going to do a demonstration on linoleum carving for the Vandercook, and I'll later print it on the Vandercook number 4. So, to start, this is a poster that's for the Eureka Art Car Festival and skateboard. And so I've done the design digitally in Adobe Illustrator in the computer, and I printed it back out in reverse, and I had to tile it on 11 by 17 so I could get the full image. And so I'm ready to transfer the image now. And here is my linoleum. I buy linoleum from Dick Blick, and I buy it in the 25-foot rolls. And this is golden cut, and it's a little bit easier to cut. So what I've done is I've taken my drawing and I've squared it up on top of the linoleum. I've taped it down, and I've used some graphite paper to transfer it to the linoleum. So I'll tape it down, put this under here like this, make sure it's positioned on this character, because this is what I'm cutting out today. Today I'm cutting out this skateboarder right here. And I'll start tracing it off. Now, I'm going to go over the outlines, so I'll go over the outlines and trace it off. And I've done this earlier, until my image is completely transferred to the linoleum right here. Now the next thing I do after it's transferred is I have some really good tools here, and these are called flex cut tools, and I've got them in different widths. I've got them, this is a low, small bowl cut. This is a small V cut, and then I have some pretty big spoons. I'm going to call this a spoon because it'll take away a lot of the linoleum that I need to take out. These smaller tools right here are really good for the detail work, that when you're going around the outline for the first time, or if you can see this, I have some hair up here that I need to cut around, so the small V cut is really good for that. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting with this smaller V tool, and I'm going to cut the outside perimeter of this drawing so I can get a really good sharp line, so when I do go to print it on the Vandercook, because I'm going to print all this letterpress, it'll keep the real sharp line. And I usually wear 2 pairs of glasses so I can get some really good details, so now you can call me Six Eyes or something like that. So, you know, linoleum carving, the flex cut tools are very, very sharp, and always have band-aids on hand. Be very careful with them. The golden cut is a lot softer than the Battleship Gray. Battleship Gray is a lot harder, and so when the tool does skip up on top, it slides right across, and it's pretty dangerous. So be very careful. The flex cut tools are around $22 a piece, and I have about 6 of them. So and they all perform different tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on this, and I'm going to stop the tape, and I will be right back when it's finished. Thanks. Okay, well, I finished the carving, and it took me about 45 minutes, and so this is what we have here. You can see the silhouette of the skateboarder in here, and it's kind of a subtractive method, even though you can almost say it's a relief. So subtractive because this is my image, and what I'm going to do is when I put this in the letterpress in the bed, I'm painting all this yellow. This will all be printed yellow, and I'm going to come back with a half tone of an art car and a process blue and run it over here, so you're going to get some kind of different colorations. And so I love layering, in with letterpress printing, and your ability to carve any image and to do multiple colors and multiple images is pretty satisfying. Now this is a bigger poster. I've done larger posters that are 18 by 24 in linoleum block cutting, and you know, some of those take about 8 hours to carve. And so we're finished with this. I'll be back in just a little bit and we'll be on press. Hi. Well, I finished the carving and I put it in the Vandercook number 4. And since the linoleum, I mount the linoleum on a particle board, because the linoleum plus a particle board is not type high, which is 0.918. I have the pad underneath the particle board, and I'll show you that right now. Okay, here's my here's the carving that I did, and I've locked it up. I'm gonna unlock it for you, and here's the particle board, and here's one sheet of the Letra 110 that cover weight that I have found that brings it to type high. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it up. Now you can see that I've applied ink right here, and it takes quite a bit of ink. It's unlike when you're printing type, metal type, or sometimes wood type, depending on how big the wood type is. But it's going to require a lot of ink to cover all of this area right here. So I have to make sure that I have plenty of ink, that every time I pull a sheet, it's gonna coat the sheet really well. So we'll do that right now. And it looks like we're pretty close to pulling a proof. I got everything set up, got the roller height done, got the image finished up, got the height of it set up to 0.918, ran off a bunch of setups, finally got it evened up on the paper. And here we are. Everything looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and run out about 200 of these things. Okay, well, we're back, and we printed the linoleum plate of the skateboarder, and our next plate that we're going to print is the art car with all the text. Now I've done this in photopolymer because I did the design in the computer. The art card came from a photograph that I manipulated and stripped out the background in Photoshop, and I did all the typography in Illustrator. So now it's time to print the last plate, which is the blue plate. And this is what we have. So in what I wanted to achieve was when the processed blue overlapped the yellow, it came out to green, because blue and yellow make green. But I wanted the highlight of the art car and some of the type that overprinted the white, I wanted it to remain blue, just to give it some layering effect, and it just has a little bit of the cool factor. So that's kind of where we are. I've got about 200 of these to print today, but I'm real happy with it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I kind of demonstrated a little bit on how to make and carve a linoleum block, how to transfer your image that you printed out from the computer in reverse, and use graphite paper to lay on top of the linoleum, and then put your image on top of the graphite paper and tape it down so it doesn't move around, and transfer that image to the linoleum. And then I use flex cut tools to carve the image, and then did the demonstration on pulling the proof of the linoleum block right here, and making sure that it has, you know, fairly crisp images. Some of the linoleum is going to have a little bit of distress, but I think that that's okay. And then using the final color of the plate here, the half tone, and it came out exactly how I imagined it. So I'm going to be putting some other videos and doing some other videos online here in the future, so stay tuned, InkyLipsPress.com, Inky Lips Letterpress. We do posters and a lot of fun stuff, so stay tuned.